The sun cast a warm, golden glow over the enchanted forest as Snow White led her new friend Kristoff down a winding path. The air was filled with the sweet scent of pine and wildflowers, and the leaves on the trees shimmered in 100 shades of green. Kristoff, ever the mountain man, looked around with wide-eyed curiosity, marveling at the vibrant colors that seemed to pulse with a life of their own. Ahead, nestled in a clearing, stood a quaint little cottage with a thatched roof, a thin curl of smoke rising cheerfully from its stone chimney. Inside this very cottage, the 7 dwarfs were just finishing their day's work, their voices echoing in a boisterous song as they swung their pickaxes one last time, their minecarts brimming with sparkling jewels. Their work done, the dwarfs marched home, their familiar tune of Hi-Yo whistling through the trees. But as they neared their cottage, the song died on their lips. There, standing by their front door, was a figure of immense proportions. The dwarfs stopped dead in their tracks, their eyes collectively widening. A wide shot captured the comical size difference. Kristoff, with his broad shoulders and towering height, seemed to fill the entire clearing, while the dwarfs looked like tiny garden gnomes in comparison. Their faces, framed by their fluffy white beards, registered pure shock. Grumpy, true to his name, was the first to react. He pointed a trembling, stubby finger at the stranger. "It's a giant," he whispered hoarsely to the others. The word rippled through the group like a shockwave. Gasps followed, and they all nodded in terrified agreement. Their fear-filled eyes locked on the towering figure. Without a second thought, they scrambled for cover, disappearing behind bushes and large rocks, peeking out with only their eyes and the tips of their pointy hats visible. A hushed, frantic council was held behind a particularly large boulder. A plan was needed. Moments later, the 7 dwarfs emerged, transformed from miners into a miniature, makeshift army. They were armed with whatever they could find. Long, sturdy sticks, Doc's broom, and even a garden rake clutched tightly by Sleepy. Led by Doc, they crept forward as a single trembling unit, their hearts pounding in their chests. Doc gave a firm nod, the silent signal to advance. One by one, they darted out and began poking at their colossal foe. Their sticks jabbed at Kristoff's thick leather boots and sturdy trousers. Kristoff, who had been patiently waiting for Snow White, felt the series of tiny thumps. He looked down, his brow furrowed in confusion, and swatted at his legs as if warding off a swarm of particularly persistent horseflies. No, he's a friend," Snow White exclaimed, rushing between them and gesturing frantically. But her words were lost in their panicked frenzy. The chaotic poking continued, a flurry of sticks and confused flinches. Growing impatient with their ineffective strategy, Grumpy let out a frustrated growl. He broke from the group, charging forward with his personal pickaxe held high, aiming a mighty swing at Kristoff's boot. Surprised by the sharp jab, Kristoff yelped and hopped back, not noticing the fallen log behind him. His feet tangled, and he went down with a tremendous crash that shook the very ground beneath the dwarf's feet. The earth-shaking thud was the final straw. Convinced the giant was now attacking, the dwarfs screamed in comical terror, scattering in every direction like startled squirrels. As dust and leaves settled, Snow White planted herself firmly in front of the fallen Kristoff, her arms outstretched. "Stop, he's our guest." Her clear, commanding voice finally sliced through the chaos. The dwarfs froze mid-flight, their panicked expressions slowly melting away as they stared at Snow White, then at the giant. Kristoff was now sitting up, rubbing the back of his head with a bewildered groan, looking more dazed than dangerous. One by one, the dwarfs lowered their makeshift weapons. Fear gave way to confusion, which quickly blossomed into bright red embarrassment. Dopey, ever the gentle soul, cautiously approached and gave Kristoff's arm a soft, apologetic pat. Soon, the others gathered around, mumbling apologies with sheepish grins. A low chuckle started in Kristoff's chest, growing into a hearty, booming laugh that echoed through the clearing. The final scene faded in on the cozy interior of the cottage, where everyone Snow White, Kristoff, and all 7 dwarfs sat around the dinner table, happily sharing a warm meal and laughing together as the tale of the giant was retold.